Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Liz, and in today's video, we're doing all new Dollar Tree DIYs. So I love looking at high-end stores to get inspiration. I was on West Elm's website and I came across this picture and I really loved this color combination for spring. I thought it was new and fresh and I wanted to recreate it with Dollar Tree items. So I purchased a variety of vases from Dollar Tree. I picked up 4 of them and I just wanted them to be variations in height and sizes. You could also do this with thrifted items or any glass that you have on hand. Next, I went to Dollar Tree because the vases in the picture had a glossy finish, and lately I've been doing a lot of flat. So I wanted to find colors that had a nice glossy finish. So I went for a peachy color. I also got a dark blue, a maroon color, as well as a glossy black. This is as simple as spray painting. You want to make sure that you do thin coats whenever you spray paint. So do 1 coat, let it dry completely. Then I like to come back in, flip the vases upside down and spray another coat on. And then with vases like this, I'll probably flip them back over and then do a final coat. Let it completely dry, and you want to style these in a grouping, and I think they look so fresh for spring. In one of my recent Dollar Tree videos, I was so excited to find these new pots that they have out at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has never carried planters that are this big. This is awesome, and I was so excited to do a project with them. Now, I was going for kind of a Pottery Barn look with this piece, so I started by spray painting 1 coat of white spray paint. Now I stopped at 1 coat because I was going to be adding on different layers and textures. I didn't need it to be completely opaque. Now, I don't know if you guys are sick of seeing me use the Quikrete, but I've been loving it for creating a cement look. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a little bit of Quikrete. You can buy this at Home Depot, Lowe's, any of those stores, and you're gonna put it in, mix it with a little bit of water. You want it to be kind of like a thick pudding consistency. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the Quikrete and I'm gonna brush it along the bottom of my container. I'm also going to put some along the edges, and I'm really treating this Quikrete almost like a paint. So I'm putting it on and then I'm going back in with a paper towel to smear off any excess. Now with Quikrete, you want to let that set up. So usually what I do is I let it set overnight. Then I decided to come back in and add some color to it. So I've really been loving the color Fawn by Waverly. So I'm going to use that color and mix that in just to give it more contrast. You could add in some more white. You could even add in some more grays if you wanted to as well. I added color until I was happy with it. And here's a look at how I styled it. The last time I was shopping at Dollar Tree, I was so excited to find these little candle holders. I feel like it's been forever since Dollar Tree has had these. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you want to do that at Liz Fenwick DIY because I post all of my Dollar Tree shopping trips. So for this project, you want to get 6 of the candle holders so that we can make a grouping. Now my Dollar Tree had black and they also had white. So just pick your favorite, or you could always paint them later. You're gonna wanna grab some E6000 or some adhesive glue like Gorilla Glue. With one of your candle holders, you're gonna keep that completely separate. That's gonna be your bottom tier. Then you're gonna create a second tier. So you're gonna take one of the candle holders, add some E6000, and then you're going to take another candle holder and put it on top so that you have stacked up 2 candle holders. I felt like these candles really matched up nicely. I didn't feel like I needed to put anything around the edge or anything. Now for the tallest one, you're gonna actually stack up 3 of the candle holders. You're gonna start with 1, add your E6000, put on the top, and then put on the middle one, add some more E6000, and then put on the very top one. Let these dry completely overnight. I'm gonna be adding in some candles from IKEA. I find that they have nice large candles that are really inexpensive. You can also grab candles like this at Walmart. And I think these three look great together in a grouping. So I found this really cute cutting board in the seasonal section at Dollar Tree. I'm not sure if it was Easter or spring, but it was really cute. So I'm gonna start by just flipping the cutting board to the back, and I'm gonna spray paint with 2 coats of spray paint on the back. Now you may have to do a 3rd coat because sometimes this cork doesn't take spray paint really well, so you wanna make sure it's completely covered. Next, I'm going to use one of my favorite products from Dollar Tree, which is the cork. They sell this over in their like wood section with all the craft items. So I wanted to add the cork to the bottom of my cutting board. So I'm just going to put it on the cork, trace around the cutting board, and cut it out. This was really easy to do. Then you can just add your cork to your cutting board. I'm also going to repeat that same step by making a little strip for the top of my cutting board. I'm also going to go around the edges with a black paint pen. And then to finish it off, I'm going to be using some burlap ribbon that Dollar Tree just started selling this year for the top. And here's a look at my cutting board. I was over in the party supply section and I found these cute little tins that I just thought they were too cute to pass up. So I went ahead and got 3 of them. So I started by spray painting them with, I think it was around 3 coats of white spray paint. I guess I'm doing a lot of spray paint in this video, but you know, I guess it's spring and I can spray paint more, whereas in the winter, you guys know it's hard to spray paint. So anyways, I spray painted them with 3 coats of spray paint. Next, I thought these jars would be so cute with little decals on it. So I went into Cricut Design Space on my phone and I just was kind of searching for herbs. I found this cute little design that someone had created and I put it into Design Space. I sized the pieces down so that they fit for my containers, and then I clicked on Make It. I also added in that I was going to be using a permanent vinyl, and then I fed this through my Cricut Joy. I love how with the Cricut Joy, I don't have to use a mat. It's just really easier for smaller jobs. I've had people ask, should I get a Cricut Joy or a Cricut Explore Air? Explore Air will do all the jobs, but the Cricut Joy is just great for those small jobs. And I feel like the type of stuff I make, the Cricut Joy is easier. I would say if you want something really easy that will do small jobs, the Cricut Joy is definitely what you want to use. I find that I pull my Cricut Joy out more just because it's small and compact and I can easily use it. Once I cut those out, I'm actually going to just pull them off of the mat because I find that when I use transfer paper after I spray paint, it tends to pull up the spray paint. So I'm just going to put the labels onto my containers. I don't have that problem if I use chalk paint, but for some reason when I use spray paint, the transfer tape will pull it up. Next, I just went and purchased 3 herbs that I'm going to plant in the planters. And here's a look at how these look sitting out in my kitchen. All right, you guys, so this next project, honestly, I changed up so much of it. In the end, I like the way it turned out, but you guys are going to see, I spent a lot of time painting this piece. I grabbed a normal container over in like the party supplies, and I was going to be using this to create my container. So I kept the base the way it was, but I wanted to use the top edge to make some handles. So I went in and I cut off the top circle so that I was left with that like 1-inch strip around the edge of the lid. Next, I cut that in half and I bent those pieces so that I could create 2 handles on either side of my container. I used hot glue to put them into either side of my container, trying to make them as even and level as possible. So where I kind of couldn't figure out what I wanted to do was with the color. So I started by spray painting it, and that was okay, but I decided I didn't really like that color. And then I brought it in and painted it the color Fawn by Waverly. I decided that was way too brown. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna paint it with mineral. Once I got it to mineral, which is more of a grayish beige color, I like that one better. And I get asked you guys where to get the Waverly paint. You can buy that at Walmart. And I link everything for you down in the description box. So if you're ever looking for anything in my videos, just go down in the description box and it'll take you to that link. So once I got the paint under control, then I turned my attention to what I was going to put on to this container. A few months ago, I took a shopping trip to Five Below, and I got this cool blanket that had some fringe on it. So I'm gonna be cutting out that fringe to use in this project. This blanket was only $5. So I'm gonna cut out a piece of fringe, and then I'm actually going to cut it in half again. Now I have this dye kit that I bought probably last summer. I've used a couple of containers out of it, and I'm gonna be using the dark blue dye from this package, but you could just go and get a package of any color dye you want at the craft store. I'm gonna put the trim in a bowl, and then I'm just going to add in the dye. Make sure you wear gloves, and then I'm just going to move the trim around until it's completely saturated with dye. I'm gonna let this sit overnight, and then instead of rinsing the pieces out, because I wanted the color to be really concentrated, I just set them out where they could dry completely so it fully had the dye on it. Now, I think this works because I'm not gonna be using this, to wear, so I don't necessarily need to wash this. Plus, the trim was a little fragile that I think if I would have gone through the process of rinsing it all out, it would have kind of fallen apart. So I didn't do that. Next, I came back in with my fringe and I measured out pieces to create diagonal slats on my container, and I'm gonna hot glue those down. Then I decided to go the other way and make kind of a crisscross pattern with my fringe. And here's a look at how this container turned out. So if you go on any high-end decor website right now, painted glass is all the rage. So I wanted to recreate some of this painted glass that I've been seeing. So I picked up a glass container at Dollar Tree that had a lid with it. Next, I grabbed a glass painting kit off of Amazon. So I picked out a green and blue that I wanted to use for this project. And I'm gonna start by painting the base one color, and then my lid is going to be a separate color. Now, one thing I learned about painting glass is that it dries really quickly. So you want to make sure that you brush out your strokes really well so you don't have any kind of weird, paint globs on your piece or anything. So make sure you brush it out really well. You also can build your colors, so you can make it as deep as you want just by adding additional colors. But it's always going to have that see-through element. So that's just kind of the look of painted glass. Most painted glass will have you bake it in a really low temperature oven for a couple of hours, so you want to make sure you do that as well. I also wanted to add a decal to this, so I'm going to use my Cricut Joy to create a simple oval cutout. If you had a sticker, you could do that as well, or really you could use a piece of paper and Mod Podge it on as well. So there's a lot of different options to recreate this. But I'm going to cut out the oval with my Cricut Joy. I'm going to be using a silver vinyl, and I'm going to place it in the middle of my container. And here's a look at how the container turned out. I'm so excited to finally share with you guys that I've created a DIY Insider group on Patreon that I cannot wait to share with you. It launches today. I'm going to put all the links for you down in the description box if you want to go check it out. But I wanted to let you guys know what we're going to be offering on the DIY Insider in case you're interested. I'm going to be creating monthly design tip videos to really help you with decorating your home and tips and tricks that I use in my home that I think are going to be really helpful for you. You're going to get behind the scenes of the Liz Fenwick DIY world. You're going to see glimpses into how we do everything, how we run Liz Fenwick DIY, and my filming, my shopping, all those things. You're also going to have access to me. You can ask questions, and I'm going to be doing a weekly Q&A where I answer all of your design DIY questions. We're also going to be sharing some early access to DIYs that we post on this channel. You'll get to see them first. And the thing that I'm most excited about is we're going to be doing a monthly DIY Zoom meeting where you get to craft alongside with me on Zoom. We're going to do a project together and chat and have fun. And I'm just so excited to do this. So if you'd like to learn more about DIY Insider on Patreon, just go to the link down in the description box and all the information will be there for you. If you guys missed our last video, I'm going to link it here for you, and I will talk to you guys in our next one. Bye.